Excuse me.
Yeah.
Is that your car on the lot?
Yeah.
It's a Jag?
Yeah.
How much money you make?
I don't know, 72,000 last month.
You show me a pay stub for $72,000 on it, I quit my job right now and I work for you. Hey, listen, I quit. Yeah, I'm going into stocks.
My name is Jordan Belfort. At the tender age of 22, I headed to the only place that befit my high-minded ambitions.
The name of the game? Move the money from your client's pocket into your pocket.
But if you can make your clients money at the same time, it's advantageous to everyone, correct?
No.
I started my own firm out of an abandoned auto body shop. We will be targeting the wealthiest 1% of Americans.
I love three things. I love my country, I love Jesus Christ, and I love making people rich. Hello?
But I needed to mold them in my own image.
A quick, and Twitter and everyone else, just a quick update video. I've been in hospital for a number of weeks now, probably 4 weeks, a couple of weeks back. So I've been out of commission for that length of time. Now I just wanted to quickly touch on why you would want to follow, say, Gordon Ramsay versus the basic reason you don't want to follow someone like Dave Ramsey or even Barefoot Investor guy. I'm not slandering these guys. I'm saying if you're very elementary with money, then maybe those guys are for you. But if you're a little bit on the smarter side, if you know how to make money work, or if you've had a business before, you start with this, or you start with this book here, Conspiracy of the Rich. So these two, Rich Dad Poor Dad and Conspiracy of the Rich, are the two you start with. If you've either got business experience, you probably start with that one. If you've got, if you're not a business person, you're not business minded, you would start with this one. But those two books you read first, right? They're the ones that get you really going. When you want to get more advanced and you're starting to get in the realm of MBA sort of stuff, he does another book called this one, Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. Now, I'm just telling you that it's all the same author. You'll find he's one of the best financial authors in the entire world for a reason. Okay, it's because the books are enjoyable to read. They are very informative. They're written, except for the last one. This is actually a very complicated book to read. The Rich Dad Poor Dad book and the Conspiracy of the Rich are very, very easy books to read. They're very fun books to read. So I challenge you to pick one of them up and put one of them down. So anyway, I just figured I'd just put up a video. Also, while I'm there, I will compliment both Dave Ramsey and the author of Barefoot Investor. Now, Barefoot Investor, when I bought it, I was too advanced for that book in particular. So what I did was I gave that to a single mother who was struggling with some very, very bad financial choices she'd made, and she's now using that book to turn her life around. So as I said, I do direct charity. I don't really believe in charity as such to an organisation because you can never be sure where that money's going. But what I do is direct charity. That's the way I do things. Now, Dave Ramsey, what he's really, really good at is getting you to cut debt down to a level where you can manage it, and it gets you to save an emergency fund and that sort of thing. So I don't want to completely shit on either of those authors. It's just if you're very elementary with money, and I'd err on the side of caution with that for most people. Most people think they can go get a loan and they understand money. That's not true. Okay, so basically my tip for anyone that's run a business at all, if you have business experience, then you would read this one, Conspiracy of the Rich. Okay, now these are based on the very early book, which are basically biblical texts translated out of the Bible, The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, I don't enjoy reading this book. It's it's written in what I would call the old tongue. It's very hard for me to decipher and read, given my level of English is not quite high enough, even like having a knowledge of Latin and those sorts of things as well. So anyway, Dave Ramsey is really good at morality issues. So stuff that's like, should I loan my parents money, for instance, coincidentally? The answer for me would be no at the moment. Should I help them in any way? No, that would be the same answer for me. And that might be the same answer for you. That's for a morality question, so that's severe. You could ask Dave Ramsey about that. Now, if you wanted to know something like cousins or friends loaning their money, he's good for stuff like that, like really, really good for stuff like that. He's better than anyone because he is a Christian, so I'm a Christian as well, but that's a lesser known thing. A lot of people know they don't know I'm a Christian. I don't subscribe to any brand as such. I'm just a spiritual person who agrees with Christianity, but believes in a Christ-like God. So you don't often hear me talk about that. Now that's a real thing for me. That really fairly recently happened to me. Now, the books again, Conspiracy of the Rich, if you have business experience, and err on the side of caution with your financial knowledge. If you haven't read these books, it's probably very elementary. So Rich Dad Poor Dad, even for business people, if you find if you got less than $1,000 in the bank, particularly even after COVID, because everyone's got bailout money, then you need to probably read that book first. Okay, and that's not a dig at anyone who's had trouble with COVID. I had trouble in the GFC, the global financial crisis. That was my time of financial pain. Now I've of course turned that around over many years. So, sorry, I'm a bit doughy today because I'm on heavy medication due to my mental health issues due to my defence service. So my future videos will be a lot better than this. But I hope you've enjoyed this and you realise Gordon, give him a look. Again, I watch him every day generally because I like his spin on how to deal with family and life problems more so than his monetary advice, which I find very, very elementary. It's nothing you can't really learn out of any bank brochure at any bank. I've seen him tell people to sell houses they didn't need to sell, to pay off debts they didn't need to pay, in the reverse order with the reverse timing, that sort of thing. But long story short, if you've got a few smarts about you, and you should know if you've got a few smarts about you, you probably want to start with this Conspiracy of the Rich book, okay? That will explain all the contents of the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, but it will explain how to put it to use very quickly. So, again, with business people, the majority of them go broke because I don't believe it's because they have shitty businesses. It's because they have shitty financial knowledge, and that's why they go broke. Why you want to use Conspiracy of the Rich versus Dave Ramsey and say Barefoot Investor. So what basically the system they use is having no debt or as little debt as possible. Now the problem with that is it's too slow. Okay, you'll be forever. You'll be half your life saving up to buy one house, and I have enough real estate to tell you that is true. The time you will spend. I watched a guy in town here. I won't say who it is. It's a really nice house he's done. He's done a removal home. I guarantee he's done it for cash. Now, I've bought 3, maybe 4 properties in the time he's done that one house. Now, I have comfortable levels of equity in everything I own, and I'm not ashamed to say that. That's a lot of hard work, learning, reading, investing, taking a lot of risks. But that being said, the risks you take with leveraged property, mortgage property at the moment aren't that high. Now, that's not general financial advice. It's not really financial advice. But, yeah, basically you don't have to worry too much about basic bread and butter, working class real estate debt. So working class is like, if you rent it out, it will pay you either neutral cash flow or positive cash flow. That is cash in the bank. So that is something you will not learn from Dave Ramsey unless you listen to like 1,000 of his videos, and he does touch on it. He does use real estate, he just doesn't like talking about it. So the trick is, the key difference is using debt versus not using debt, and using debt smartly, even as I've already said on my channel, using credit card debt smartly. Now, I don't currently have a credit card, but that changes from time to time. Sometimes I have a need for one, sometimes I don't. So using debt smartly is the way to get ahead. But as I said, look, I don't wear this giant gold chain because I like, wearing it. Well, I do like wearing it, but it's also because I've made smart decisions and I've educated myself on how to use debt and leverage sensibly, okay? Now, that's a very important distinction for Dave Ramsey and someone like myself, or anyone that does Rich Dad or Conspiracy of the Rich type stuff. That's a massive distinction of why we're miles ahead of any of these Dave Ramsey people. I really don't care who you tell me. It's just, it is what it is. You go take a loan. People are still going to be taking loans for houses in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. It's always something you're going to have to loan money for. You're not just going to get it handed to you. There are certain ways people can have that happen, but in most cases, 99.99% of cases, you are going to have to pay a mortgage for a house. So you might as well be paying yourself first, paying mortgage instead of rent, and then later renting it out, or house hacking, renting several rooms within that house to then house hack that house to make you money. So there's multiple ways I'll go over in my channel how to make money out of real estate, how to buy it below market value, that sort of stuff. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. So I had to edit this video because I'm